Hello friends, welcome back to Moon Magic Spirit. My name is Meg and today we are doing a pick a card reading on Libra season and what to expect. Hello my beautiful friends, happy autumn equinox, happy Libra season. We are getting into it. I am super excited for this time of year. I personally feel like I start to come alive during Libra season. I am a Libra rising. I don't have a lot of earth placements in my chart, so I don't really like the grounding of earth season. So I'm happy to be like whoosh up in the air again. But for today's tarot card reading, I'm going to be using the Halloween tarot deck like I did in my last one for Mars and Gemini. Mars in Gemini is the 7-month transit, so if you're curious about that, it lasts until the end of March. So if you like pick a card readings and you missed that one, be sure to check out the link up here and also down in the description box. I do have other videos linked and a lot of other good information in the description box. But anyways, it is Season of the Witch, so we have to keep using the Halloween tarot deck. I'm also going to be using the Where Alice Went Oracle deck. This is an oracle deck based off of Alice in Wonderland. I'm obsessed with it. This is my favorite oracle deck that I own, and the best part is my friend created it, so I will have a link to her shop down below. And because we are heading into spooky season, I have to pull out the liminal space oracle cards as well, so I will have a link for this too in the description box. All of the decks I use will be linked below. So we have our spreads, and oracle cards are just bonus cards that I like to pull at the end for final messages. If you have not done a pick a card reading before, fret not, we will get into how that works in just a minute. But first I want to talk about Libra season for a minute because she deserves her moment. Libra season is, I don't want to say like about being like delusionally attracting relationships, but it's kind of like about like that delusional like head over heels, I'm gonna fall in love kind of vibes that I really love about Libra season. It's all about connections, so romantic connections are a great one. We love a good love story during Libra season, but this can also involve connections in your professional life, in your family life, when it comes to your social life, business opportunities, so we have all of that to look forward to. With that being said, it's also a great time to kind of analyze and look at those intimate relationships in your life because, you know, we think of intimacy and romance, but you're also have intimate relationships with the people that you are spending the most time with and that you are around the most. So it's a good time to kind of work on those partnerships and analyze them. And also while we're in Mercury retrograde, it's a good time, you know, Mercury retrograde is causing us to do a lot of reflection and to see where we're going and if the people that are with us, if we want to continue with them on our journey. Season is also all about balance, balancing the scales because our scales get misbalanced all the time. So I would say that this Libra season though, instead of trying to bring balance to your outside relationships, I really feel like this Libra season in 2022, you need to focus on bringing balance to yourself. I feel like a lot of you watching this have been giving a lot to others, but you really haven't been giving to yourself. So this Libra season is causing for reflection for you to bring to yourself and bring that balance back to you so everyone and everything can be perfect and you're not feeling down here while everyone else is feeling up here because of all the amazing things that you do for them. It should be equal. So that's something to think about. When you're thinking about your relationships as well, not just am I giving too much to other people, what about other people? What are the other people giving to you? Is there an equal power dynamic? Is somebody, you know, overholding over you? Is it like a toxic relationship that may have power over you? Are they draining you? Do they cause unnecessary drama in your life? Or are these people that uplift you and fill your cup up for you? So it's just a great time to reflect on relationships and bringing balance to that. It's all about mirrors, baby. Mercury retrograde is a mirror. Libra season is a mirror. These people in your life are mirrors. You know, let that mirror shine. Look in what's in the reflection and decide if you're happy with what's in that reflection. So with the spread that we are using today, this is a spread by Emerald Lotus Divination. I love her spreads. We do have 6 cards, so it's a lot to go through. Probably going to be a longer video, as you can tell by the timestamp. But the 6 questions in this spread are: what is the vibe for this Libra season? What is something I should contemplate at this time? Why is it important to contemplate this, referring to the previous card? How can I allow my creativity to flow this season? Because I also feel like Libra is very artsy, so I love that question. How can I channel my confidence this season? Again, putting yourself back up atop instead of burying yourself at the bottom. You gotta be the star, you gotta shine, you gotta let yourself shine. And which ways can you maximize pleasure this season? I love all these questions. I think that they're great. And I would also really appreciate it if you can leave me a comment and let me know what resonated with you during your reading. And just as a reminder, this is a reading for the collective, for the general. So not every single sentence that I say is going to resonate with you, and that's okay, because this isn't a personalized reading for you specifically, but there may be many messages that you do resonate with. So it works. So you know what you resonate with, you take. What you don't resonate with, you leave. And if there is more than one pile that you're attracted to, if you're kind of deciding, right, because Libra can be indecisive, if you're kind of deciding between 2 different piles, or you're curious about all 3, there might be messages for you in all 3 piles or in multiple piles. So be sure to check out the timestamps that's in the comment section and also in the description box. And if you are interested in a personal one-on-one reading, check out that description box. Like I said, good info down there. Here's how it works with our pick a card readings. In just a minute, I'm going to throw an image on the screen of the different piles, and I want you to see what pile you feel the most drawn to. If you're not instantly drawn to a pile, that's totally fine. What you can do is pause the video, and we'll get there in a minute, but I'd like to take a deep collective breath together before you pick and choose. But take as much time as you need. Feel free to pause and just see like what resonates, what's feeling right, whatever card or crystal that you're attracted to, because I know people love crystals and it's more fun to pick with crystals. So whatever one you are attracted to, those are your messages. Again, the timestamps for these readings are pinned in the comments and in the description bar. So once you know what pile you're going for, you can just go ahead and click on it and it'll take you right to your reading. So I will see you over there. But before we go, let's take one big, deep, collective breath in together, and then I will leave you to it and see you over for your reading. Welcome group 1 to your reading on Libra season, and I am so excited for the messages in this group. I really hope you paid attention to what I said in the intro, and if you didn't, I'm actually gonna ask you to go back and listen to my intro to this video where I'm talking about Libra season, because it is going to apply to you a lot in your reading. And I do just want to state that I'm not doing reversals in this reading today. And if you hear a click clacking, that is my dog walking around. I think she's walking to her bed. But let's get in and dive right in group 1. So for the very first question of what is the vibe of Libra season, we have for you, get my lighting right here. Okay friends, your first card is the 5 of Pentacles, and I've been pulling this card a lot in my reading, so I feel like y'all gotta get it together. This came in the Mars and Gemini reading as well, so if you missed that, be sure to check it out. But here, for our question of what is the vibe of Libra season, like, this is why I kindly asked you to watch the intro to this video if you did not, because how the rest of the cards in this reading go and how your Libra season is going to go depends on you And it depends on you in this first card. This card is about avoiding what you need the most and not being present, being numbed out in a sense, which makes, that does make sense. A lot of us, myself included, have been numbing out. It's been really, really hard to focus. It's been really, really hard to stay present, even to stay grounded. But we need to take a look at these things and analyze them so we can have our little stock over here, our little pumpkin stock abundant with pumpkins, because right now you may be the person that's trudging through the snow and you're not really taking time to be present to notice the beautiful art that's on this window. You're not really noticing that your child has dropped their bag of candy. You're just kind of in a rush and just focusing. Like, you can see that there is some haste in this movement with how the capes are flowing, the intention with the steps. Our guide in the Halloween tarot is this little black cat that is on the back of the cards. They're our guide. They can represent us or they can represent our guide, and sometimes they're significant to the cards. But even our guide, right? Let's use a little black cat as our little spirit guide. They're like, whoa, you're not noticing that your kid just dropped their candy and spilled like everywhere. You're not paying attention to your surroundings. So this card is really calling on you to focus on the present and to focus on yourself, because your surroundings do affect you. So you're totally missing this beautiful piece of art. You're noticing something really important that's happening to people around you because you're not truly present. So the vibe of Libra season is kind of like getting your shit together, so to say. But it's really causing you to focus on presence, not numbing out, because being present connects us to what's good in life. It connects us to art, it connects us to beauty, it connects us to those who are around us, those who matter to us, those who are important to us. We may be missing connections because we're not in the present and we're not focused on what's going on. So you don't want that to happen. Just like my camera wasn't focused on the card there for a second. Your presence connects us to what's good for us. You have everything that you need for this. It's just a simple practice to incorporate in your day-to-day life of just being present, mindfulness. I would say gratitude is a great thing, but I would think that mindfulness and working on just being present and just noticing things that you haven't before is a really great way to just start to incorporate this habit, because you need to start paying attention to what's around you, and the rest of the cards are calling you to do that for this Libra season. So you really need to start focusing on what's going around you instead of just like focusing on what's ahead, or maybe you're focusing too much on what's in the past, but you're not present to where you are and what you need to be doing. So the second card that we pull is something to contemplate during this Libra season. My camera keeps wanting to focus on the flame. And we have the Eight of Ghosts here. So something that you need to contemplate ties into the first card because the Eight of Cups is telling you what you need to let go so you can be present. You're going on an adventure. Eight of Cups can also signify travel, and there's another travel card here, so you may have some travel coming up. But you can see the ghosts, they look kind of like they're in distress a little bit. They look a little bit worried. They look a little bit sad. The moon is kind of looking at you like, what's going on here? So this is walking away from what doesn't serve you. So you're walking out of this card into this one, and you're taking your distractions away, and what you use to numb out away, you're walking away from that so you can start to focus on being more present. And I like the tie-in with the pumpkin head here, from going from the five of pumpkins into the Eight of Ghosts. But something to contemplate. Eight of Cups is really, the Eight of Cups is the card of contemplation, of what is serving you, what is no longer serving you, what are you doing, where are you headed on this journey, where do you need to be going, and who gets to join you on this? Like, who are you leaving behind? You can think of these ghosts as the relationships that you're analyzing, because I called for you at the beginning of this video to like really take a look in the mirror at yourself and to really use other people as a mirror as well to reflect back their relationships to you and what they mean to you. So these ghosts may be looking a little bit worried because you might be leaving them behind. It's a time for you to reflect. The Eight of Cups is calling for you to reflect. And to jump off of that, why is it important to have this contemplation? Why is it important for you to walk down this path? And that's because we pulled the World card. The World card signifies the end of one journey and the beginning of a new one. And if you aren't able to get to this point, you're just going to keep going on the same journey over and over again until you complete the lesson. That's what the World card is. It's about completing the lesson, doing the assignment, doing the work. So it all ties in together with the first two cards of focusing on the presence, contemplating and reflecting. And this might be something that you've been avoiding. I'm being told that you've been avoiding this. And the world is here to say that you can't avoid this anymore. You really need to explore. And if you look at the World card, there's so much going on, so much to focus on, so much to pay attention to. I like how they put Saturn in there because Saturn is definitely full of lessons. But we have the different elements represented. We have the moon there. We have a pumpkin. I'm guessing that's what that is. And our guide is kind of in the middle of all of this, kind of figuring out like what there is to see, what there is to learn. So even though this is something that you want to avoid, because the Eight of Cups is also telling me like avoidance, like you're not wanting to do this. Obviously the Five of Pentacles, you're walking past the art, you're not paying attention, you're like avoiding this actively. So the world is telling us that yes, you're avoiding doing this work, but it's so monumental for the path that you're on and your growth, and you're not going to be able to finish this chapter until this is learned. This is all about spiritual understanding. And again, the World is also a travel card. So the Eight of Cups and the World are travel cards. So you may be doing some traveling this Libra season. If you are traveling, maybe the places that you're traveling to, this is where you're going to be able to do that contemplation. Maybe a change of scenery is going to allow you to view things from a different perspective. So even if you don't have big travel plans coming up, maybe shaking things up and just visiting somewhere new, local, like go somewhere that you haven't been before. If you're a homebody, just going to a park and contemplating out in nature, that's a really great thing to do. Explore a different part of your city and just see what there is to see there, and let it all come in, and you don't know what kind of realizations are going to come to you. So I think that going somewhere new to do this contemplation is a good thing, because it's going to get you to see things in a way you weren't seeing them before. It's going to get you to open your eyes, and you're going to be able to have these realizations and start to have like these kind of like difficult conversations with yourself. And we're going to tie into this a little bit more in card 5. So I'm going to revisit this thought. But up next, we're talking about creativity. And this is such a tank, and tank means that there are no coincidences. You know, it's a card of how can you allow creativity to flow. And to me, we pulled one of the most creative cards in the entire deck, which is the Queen of Wands herself. It is the Queen of Imps in this deck. I love it because the little black cat is in the original Pamela Coleman Smith artwork, and this is also my witchy card. So this card is definitely telling you to get creative. Maybe you get creative with the occult. I really love that. Maybe you start to dive into divination a little bit, or some kind of like witchcraft. Maybe that's what you're gonna get creative in, and it's gonna tie into your contemplation and figuring out like where you're going from here. But the Queen of Wands represents fire, which is like confidence. I see fire also as creativity. I know that water, cups represents creativity as well, but I also really see fire as creativity. It speaks to me because you have that burning passion, and creativity to me, it needs to have like a burning passion behind it. The Queen of Wands is all about success, finding passion, and finding beauty. But it's not just that, because the Queen of Wands, she finds passion and beauty in day-to-day life. And what is this with the 5 of Pumpkins? It's about not being present in your day-to-day life and missing out on the beauty that surrounds you and not being present in the moment. So again, the Queen of Wands is calling upon you. You're not, if you've been in a creative rut, especially if you are creative watching this, you're not going to be able to get out of this rut until you start noticing the little things and being mindful and being present in the moment, because noticing the little things is where we draw a lot of inspiration from. The Queen of Wands also has a lot of energy about her, so if you've been feeling a little bit drained, you can probably pull some energy from being creative. She also rules willpower and willfulness and creativity. She's just very bold. She's very magnetic. She is present in the daily, and she gives us sparks of creativity. So that is what the Queen of Wands is calling to you. And how you can allow creativity to flow is just by channeling the energy of the Queen of Wands and diving into something small and letting that spark your joy and spark your creativity, and you'll be a lot more present once you start to do that. So up next we have how to channel confidence, and we pulled the Lovers card. I love this card. I think it's so fun. It's a woman in bed, and there's a vampire in the window, and we have our guy there kind of checking out like what's going on, what's happening. And then she also has her dog there kind of like, what are you doing? And it looks like she has some love letters. So maybe she has like a lover as far or a lover as seas, and this vampire is in her window trying to tempt her. Because the Lovers card isn't all about balance and unity at the time, like all the time. It's like, is it love or is it infatuation? It's about duality. It's about reflection. So that's kind of like where we can tie back into the world card on this lesson that we've been learning here. Having this spiritual understanding and having this lesson and having this growth, and just kind of like maybe being stuck in a place of like numbness or like a place of indecision because you're unable to move on from this because you haven't closed this chapter. You haven't been able to move on. Saturn is all about lessons, and you're going to keep repeating the lessons until you break the cycle. And when it comes to channeling confidence, the Lovers is going to help us do that, because the Lovers card is a mirror. It's going to reflect it. But it's a very Libra vibe, and what I was talking about at the beginning of the video of taking inventory on yourself and taking inventory on the people around you, and are you carrying them on to the next chapter of your life? Are you going to be stuck here in the same cycle, repeating the same patterns? So the Lovers is calling you to really be bold, because when it comes to contemplation with the 8 of Cups, it's kind of like you're doing it, but you're not like confidently or necessarily like happily doing it. But the Lovers is going to bring you like that bold, like I am bold and confident in the decisions that I am making. And listening to your subconscious is going to help you make conscious connections for harmony. So I'm going to say that again. The biggest lesson with the Lover card here is listening to your subconscious, because listening to your subconscious is going to allow you to have that reflection. It's going to allow you to have that mirror and see the reflection of the people in the mirror. And that's going to bring you to your conscious connections, and it's going to allow harmony to come into your life. So last but not least, before we get into our oracle cards, we have how can we maximize pleasure? What a fun card, or what a fun question. And here we have the Queen of Cups. I love this because the Queen of Cups is all about self-care. And again, we've been numbing out and not focused, you know, even though this person seems like they're focused on themselves because they're not paying attention to what's around them, they're not focusing on themselves. They're focusing on just like marching ahead and like getting on to the next thing. They're not actually paying attention to or focusing on themselves either, because focusing on yourself requires you to be present. And the person in the Five of Pentacles is simply just not present. So we have the Queen of Cups, and she is all about that self-care, filling up that cup, making sure that there is balance, and that ties into Libra with the balance and the duality, and it goes to the same thing with the Lovers card. It's all about having, you know, like I said at the beginning of the video, you can't balance the scale if you keep giving to other people and you're not giving to yourself. You need to be able to give to yourself, to be there for others, and to be there for the people that actually are worthy and deserving of you being there. Because chances are, if you're giving to others and you don't have the time or energy for your own self-care, you may need to reevaluate those relationships, because why are they so draining? Why are you not able to have time for yourself, to refill yourself after giving and giving to other people? Now, there are cases where we do tend to just neglect ourselves totally, and it doesn't so much have to do with the people that are around us in our lives, but chances are, if you're feeling really burnt out and you're just like trudging ahead and not present, you're giving your energy to people who are draining your pleasure cup. That's what we're going to call it, the pleasure cup. It's being drained by the wrong people. The Queen of Cups is all about emotions. So this card is telling you to maximize your pleasure. You got to get in touch with your emotions, baby. Like creative visions to action. This is going to help you create the balance that you so desperately need right now. And the Queen of Cups, like I said when we were talking about the Queen of Wands, the Queen of Cups also represents creativity. She represents the same thing, passion and creativity behind a project. So to me, if you're able to channel the energy, the bad bitch energy of the Queen of Wands, because this is like the bad bitch card. Like, you are that bitch. You need to pull that energy and you need to channel it. Fake it until you make it. That is the energy of the Queen of Wands. So bringing your creative visions to life is a call to action. The Queen of Wands is calling for you to get in touch with your creativity. It's a call to action to share with other people. Share around the world, because the world needs your art. It will bring needed, sharing your creativity will bring needed healing, not just to yourself, but to other people all around the world. It's a really beautiful thing to be able to share your art. So don't deny yourself of sharing your art. I think that you really need to, you'll find great pleasure of getting back in touch with your emotions, with your creativity. And I think that's starting all the way back to the beginning with the Five of Pentacles, getting in touch and just being present and starting to notice at least one thing every day. Being present and focused once a day will slowly help give you that inspiration that you need. You'll start to be able to be conscious enough to pay attention to things and people that are around you. You're going to be able to focus on who you are and what you want. You'll be able to end this chapter, allowing you to come into your bad bitch moment over here and get that creative going, get that passion going, have that fire ignited under your butt. And again, knowing who is there for you, who isn't there for you, and having the Queen of Cups and the like cherry on top of this is the self-care and the love for yourself, and the pleasure is going to come from creation. And creation doesn't always have to be art or painting. There's so many different ways that you can create things. So that is what Libra season has in store for you. We do have some oracle cards to go through, and I'm going to read what those oracle cards are from the guidebook, along with giving my input, you know. So, you know, maybe the creativity is like you have a really good creative idea for work, or to start your own business venture, or maybe it allows you to get in touch with something that you used to once be passionate about. Like for me personally, I play guitar. I haven't played in like 6 years, and out of nowhere I'm like, I need to play my guitar again. I went and got it restringed. I'm like super amped and pumped for it. So there's so many different ways that you can look at creativity. Okay, so up first from our Alice in Wonderland deck, we have the card Find. And we also have the card Wish, which I think these are two really beautiful cards that tie in. So I'm going to read the meaning from the guidebook for us. So for Find, you feel like something is missing and need to take some time to discover what needs to be added to your life. Hello, the entire spread. What feels out of balance at this time? The duality and the balance of, you know, balancing the scales when it comes to the Lovers, when it comes to a World card, when it comes to Libra season in general. What is out of balance? Consider where you need to add more to find equilibrium. So where do you need to add more here? And adding more, to me, comes to the end of the spread. You need to add more Queen of Wands and Queen of Cups energy into your life. That's just my 2 cents on it. Now, when it comes to Wish, you were asked to indulge in your wildest desires. What do you dream will or could happen? What would life be like if this dream came true? Now is the time to wish upon a star. So my friends, this is our Eight of Cups over here. What are you wishing for? What do you need to contemplate to make that wish a reality, so you can complete this chapter and start a brand new chapter on what this wish is? There's something inside of you that you kind of had given up on. There's something inside of you that you have just kind of like put to the back burner. You're like, this isn't really important. It doesn't really matter, like whatever. Or like, I'm too exhausted to do whatever this wish is, whatever this passion is, whatever this dream is. But Libra season is a really great time to put that into action and to start making plans for it, because your dreams and your hopes, your wishes, your desires, it does bring balance to you personally, which ties into Libra. So that's why I love this Alice Where Alice Went Oracle deck. It is just absolutely incredible. It ties in so beautifully every time. And lastly, you never know what you're going to get with the Visions in Liminal Space. Sometimes it's a gentle message, sometimes it's a smack to the head, but we will see. I don't think it's going to be a smack to the head, because we pulled, it's life is beautiful, life is meaningful, and sparkle, sparkle, bitch. So I just feel like if you've been watching this, you've been like, especially, like, I feel like a lot of us are numbed out, but you've been especially numbed out, and you need to come out of that. It's not good. It's not a good place for you to be. So when it comes to life is beautiful and life is meaningful, until whatever great beyond comes to claim us, we are here in a life abundant with beauty and meaning for those who dare to see and make it. Have you ever noticed that it's precisely when the hearts are the most desperate that these tiny offerings slipped under the door? I almost are like, I don't know why this is making me emotional. But life is beautiful. It is meaningful, and we do need to stop being numb and stop like not being present. We need to start paying attention to like the little blessings that are around us. Like, I know that that can be hard if you're somebody that struggles with mental health or struggles, you know, just in general. But as somebody who is coming out of like a really bad depressive episode, it's hard to be present sometimes. It's hard to appreciate the small things when you just feel so rotten inside. I don't know where my camera cut off. And that's probably a good thing, because like I almost started crying. So you either heard that or you didn't. So I'm going to pick up, just in case, with Life is Beautiful. Okay, so we're going to start over with this card. Life is beautiful. Until whatever great beyond comes to claim us, we are here, in a life abundant with beauty and meaning for those who dare to see and make it. Have you ever noticed that it's precisely when hearts are most desperate that these tiny offerings are slipped under the door? And I think that this message is so beautiful. Like, I was literally crying over it. I'm coming out of a really bad depressive episode. So, yeah, I got my feels, but life is beautiful, life is meaningful, and like we're just trudging along, and we need to stop doing that. Like, we can't keep living life just trudging around, ignoring what's in front of us and just being numb, because we're not going to be present to like see what these gifts and messages are. We're going to be in the state where we're kind of ignoring of like what's happening. And I went on to tell this story with my groomer. My dog just got groomed, and life is beautiful, life is meaningful, and I understand that we all go through a lot of hard things, and you know, life is about perspective. And my groomer just like inspired me so much, because you know, for me, I obviously I just came out of a bad depressive episode, so I have issues with depression. But you know, he was about 3 hours late to the appointment, which I don't mind. Like, I have nothing going on. So I don't care. Like, I've been using him for years. Like, we're cool. And he's just always so happy all the time. Like, he's like such a joyous man. And he was 3 hours behind. And, you know, I just sent him a message. I'm like, hey, are you still making it out? Just to like, you know, are you okay? Like, is everything good? It was like over an hour after he was supposed to come, and he's like, I'm dealing with a really big mess. I'll be there soon. So I was like, is everything okay? Like, are you okay? And he was just like, yeah, I'm great. And he was just telling me how his last appointment, he had 2 dogs that were severely matted, and it was just a big undertaking, and he wasn't expecting it, causing him to be late to our appointment. And I'm like, don't even worry about it. And I was just like, I just, you know, I hope you're okay, and I hope that the dogs are okay. And he's just like, yeah, isn't life just so beautiful? And like, life is just so abundant. And he was like, can you believe the year is almost over, 2023? Wow, like what a beautiful time to be around. And he's like, life is just so beautiful. And I'm just like, oh my God, like I know like people exist like that out in the world, but I was just like, oh my gosh, like this, like that is him in that card, man. Like, he had such a rough night, and instead of, you know, wanting to cancel our appointment or reschedule or come and like be in a bad mood, he was so happy to come and get my dog. He was like, I wish all my dogs were like your dogs. I'm like, really? But I just felt terrible because he had a really rough appointment, and I have a husky, so that's a lot to deal with. And he was just in such a good mood after dropping her off, and he was just like, life is just so beautiful. I hope you have such an amazing, beautiful life. And I just hope you have such an amazing, beautiful night. And I was just like, oh my goodness. Anyways, I'm sidetracked. So let's get back to the last message, because most of you are probably like, we don't care. So the last card that we picked is Sparkle Bitch. So this is pretty self-explanatory, but every being is, at their core, sparkling and luminous. Some call it soul, some call it the bit of God dwelling in each of us. Others just call it sparkle bitch. To be unapologetically sparkly in a dull world is an act of resistance and an act of hope too. Queen of Wands, bitch. She is sparkle bitch, and so are you. I'm yelling at you. I'm sorry for yelling, but like, get your inner sparkle bitch on, because you are it. You can do it. And I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. I think that, you know, a message about sparkling is very aesthetic to Libra. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I would love to hear from you. And before I leave you, while you looked at your spread, I started cleaning up and I forgot that I had a song for you guys. So I was kind of listening to music towards the end of pulling for you, and this song just really stood out and resonated with the reading. So I encourage you to listen to the song to see if it resonates. It's called The Space Between by Ori. I'm probably saying that wrong, but I really like it. Look up the lyrics, listen to it, see if it relates to everything that we just learned in the reading. Here is an overview of your spread if you wanted to take a moment to sit with it and take a look at it, or take a screenshot of what your spread is. These are your messages for Libra season. I understand the difficulty of pulling yourself out of like such a tumultuous place because I've been doing it. I empathize with that. I know that you can do this. You're a strong, beautiful person. Life is beautiful. Life is meaningful. Sparkle, sparkle, bitch. As always, thank you so much for your time and energy in this video. This was a little bit of a longer one, but I had fun doing this, so I hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you aren't yet already, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, everyone. Happy Libra season. Hi, Group 2. Welcome to your reading on Libra season. I am so excited to jump into this reading with you. If you are curious about this, I did a DIY. It's up on my channel, so I'll link the video. But anyways, had to throw some shameless self-promo in there before we get into talking about Libra season for you. So Group 2, the vibes are pretty good in your reading. I'm not gonna lie. So if you're feeling a little bit down and you're kind of like, did I pick the wrong group? You didn't. You're in the right place. Trust. Okay, so like we're gonna go over it, and I'm actually really excited because there's so many hopeful messages for you in this reading. And in case if you are not familiar with this deck, the Halloween Tarot deck, this black cat that is on the back of the card is like our guide. You can think of them as like your highest self. Sometimes they have meaning in the card, but they're just like our little guide along on the show. So our first question is, what's the vibe for Libra season? And I am loving it because we pulled the Empress. Let's do a nice little zoom in on the Empress. You hear any little click clacks? It's my dog, and she's about to drink water, so you might hear that. But I love this for Libra season. I think that this is such a little tank moment. This is such a vibe because Libra season started on the day of the fall equinox, and the Empress, I feel like she is like the embodiment of fall equinox and autumn equinox and how we should be celebrating it. So if you haven't yet already, these are so many good things to do. And if you did celebrate the autumn equinox, keep those vibes coming throughout the rest of the season. It is time to just like relax, be chill, be one with the earth. The Empress is like a reminder to reconnect to Mother Earth because she is all that is good, all that is abundant. And if you're curious about things that you can do for the autumn equinox, I do also have another shameless promo. I do have a video about the autumn equinox where I decorate my altar. And if that's not your thing, I talk about a lot of really simple things that you can do to celebrate fall equinox, like treating yourself to a pumpkin spice latte, or like going apple picking, basically participating in like the fun fall activities. Also, you know, making like some soup or stew at home. But anyways, the vibe for Libra season is Empress. So this is all about abundance, creativity. The Empress, hello, can we focus please? This is all about abundance. It's all about creative expression. I do see the Empress is like a very creatively minded person. She's very fruitful with ideas. She's very nurturing. She's very passionate. So the Empress is also like a pregnancy card. But that doesn't mean, you know, pregnancy with baby, right? It can mean pregnancy with a new creative idea, a new job, a new venture that you're going on. You might be moving somewhere or going on a trip or traveling. So being pregnant with ideas. There's so many ways to interpret that. So it could be some kind of new opportunity coming your way. Just really celebrating nature, getting in touch with feminine energy, and finding pleasure from all 5 of your senses is really important for the vibes of Libra season when it comes to the Empress. Simply enjoying and taking in what's around you, like just opening up your eyes and being like, I can hear the birds chirping outside, I can see the sunshine, I can feel the warmth of the sun on my skin, I can taste the apple that I just picked, you know what I mean? So just really taking it in and being present. And I think that's just like a heavy theme because like group 1 was like, they were really not present at all. So I think that a call to being present is something that's important because I feel like a lot of us are feeling numbed out, so to say. So like the Empress is calling us in to be like, ground yourself, baby, and just take in the moment, have some mindfulness, like enjoy the outside, you know, maybe go to a park, sit out in the grass, I don't know, whatever makes you happy. Maybe you like going kayaking, like just spending some time in nature and grounding in nature, tuning into those nature vibes, and grounding and doing all of this, soaking up the abundance of what's around you is going to turn into energy for you. And it's going to be like a really nice, like relaxing period because you need it and you deserve it. Because I also know you're going through a hard time. It may not seem like it, but you are going through. I know you are. The cards don't lie. Up next, we have the 10 of Ghosts. I'm trying to make this work. My lighting is a little bit weird because I'm filming in my kitchen, so I don't really have like a lot of plugs where I need them to be for my light source. So the second card is the 10 of Ghosts, which represents the 10 of Cups for something to contemplate. And at first I was like, this is a really happy card, like this is amazing. And then I saw the next card and I was like, oh, I see. So before I get into this, I'm going to pull the next card, which is why is it important to contemplate the 10 of Cups? Because the 10 of Cups is a celebration card, and you might just be like, oh, why? Like, what? Like, there's nothing to celebrate. I don't even want to go outside and eat some grapes. Like, why do I want to celebrate anything? And that's because you are in the stage of the 9 of Swords. So we have the 9 of Bats in the Halloween tarot, but it's the 9 of Swords. So like you are in like deep, like mental, like despair. Like I in this card, I shared with group 1, I'm coming out of a really bad depressive episode. So this is literally me. I've been crying and sobbing almost every day. Okay, like it's not good. We have like these little bats like around our head, like haunting us. They're not letting us have any peace. Our little cat is so sad and like it's going to be okay. Like the moon is looking in on us, like get it together. Even like the bats are like, damn, like you are sad. So that's why it's really important for you to contemplate the 10 of Cups, which is the happiness card. So let's get back to question 2 before we get too ahead of ourselves. What do you need to contemplate during Libra season? The 10 of Cups. And here's what I have to say about it. Because in the original Pamela Coleman Smith artwork, it's a rainbow, there's a family outside, they look happy, there's like a castle in the background, it's like happily ever after. But the truth of the matter is, happily ever after is bullshit. It's for fairy tales, and fairy tales aren't real. And I think it's very valid to say that, and I think it's very important to say that. I mean, how do all the movies end? They live happily ever after, but what is happily ever after? What does that actually look like? So happy endings are for fairy tales. It's just not real. Like, life is full of emotion. It's full of ups and downs. It's just not consistently happy at all the time. All of the times, all of the, you know, Life just like isn't consistently happy at all moments, at all times of the day. It's just not realistic. It's not achievable. It's not attainable, because enough is never enough. You want to know why billionaires exist? Because enough is never enough. They hoard their money because it's not enough. If you know, social media is huge, right? So like if you get 500 likes on an Instagram post, you're going to have the 10 of cups moment. You're going to be like, oh my God, this is everything. Like 500 likes. Oh my God, I can't believe it. But then you keep posting and then your likes drop down to 300 and you're no longer the 10 of cups. You're like, what the hell is happening? And you're not happy. So enough is never enough. And that's kind of what 10 of cups is. I hope that makes sense. Let me know if that resonates down in the comments. So happy endings just aren't real. And what is real are the small daily wins, because life is a range of emotions and we need to celebrate that. We need to celebrate our emotions and being able to feel and being able to have the human experience. We're all very hard on ourselves, and that has to do with like hierarchy, learned beliefs. It has to do with like systemic oppression. It has to do with the capitalist world that we live in. And it feels like the 10 of cups is unattainable and like this impossible thing that we should be chasing after, and we should be chasing after happily ever after. But that's not truly what the 10 of cups is about. It's about being in the present moment and celebrating that. The moon is happy. They're like admiring their little ghost lights, the child's dancing with the cat. They're just happy in moment and like this peace and like this moment in time. They're just happy celebrating this. And it's something that we really need to focus on, is celebrating our happy little wins. If your win for the day is like, I didn't cry in the shower, celebrate that. It deserves to be celebrated, because that's what life is about. It's about celebrating all of the small wins that we get. And that's how we can achieve, you know, quote unquote, the happy ending, is by celebrating and recognizing ourselves. So that's what you need to contemplate. You need to stop focusing on the bigger picture and start focusing on more of the presence, because it's not getting you anywhere. It's causing you a lot of mental despair. You could be in in a deep depression right now. You could be feeling very anxious. Like I said, a lot of us are kind of like numbing out, and I feel like Libra season is a call for us to like get back in touch with nature and to get back in touch with our feelings. So why is it important to contemplate the 10 of cups? Because we don't need to be participating in this endless chase. Enough is never enough. And being present allows freedom, because we rely on avoidance in order to keep the status quo, in order to keep numb. We just avoid everything. We're not present, we're not happy, we're numbing out because that's just what feels comfortable, and our ego is like, hey, it's easy to just do this than to change. It's hard to change, especially if you've been in like a depressive state. It's so hard to pull yourself out of that, because the smallest things take up all of your energy. So that's why it's really important for you to celebrate the wins that you get in the 10 of cups. You really do. You need to start appreciating the little things. And it may seem silly, but the little things add up to like a larger celebration to get you pulled out of this place. Behavioral activation is something that's really important. It's something that I'm personally working on myself. It's, you know, do one thing a day that brings you joy. And you do this, again, I'm not a doctor. Do not take this as medical advice or anything. Like, I'm not a doctor. I'm just sharing an opinion, and I'm sharing an experience of mine, and what personally I am doing is finding one thing that brings me joy every single day. And it doesn't have to be anything big. If not sleeping until 1 p.m. brings me joy, I'm going to celebrate that. If getting a pumpkin spice latte or making my own pumpkin spice latte brings me joy, I'm going to celebrate that. You know, what can I do that brings me joy? I went out and I met someone that I've been talking to through my online community. We met in person today for lunch. That brought me joy. So it's like doing one thing a day that brings you joy can help bring you out of this state. And it's going to help you connect back to yourself. It's going to help you connect to the Empress energy, to this creative energy, to this abundant energy. Because working on something that brings you joy once a day, and then slowly you can start to add in things that are mastery. So what is something like a hobby that you previously enjoyed that you haven't been able to do for a while because you just haven't been in the right state of mind to do it? So mastery for me is doing this video, is filming this, is doing tarot, is editing a video, is uploading on YouTube. Like that's like a mastery thing that I can do. Working on a painting, creating something is a mastery level thing that I can do. Anything personally that I'm doing that's creative is like a mastery level thing, and I can start to incorporate that to doing like 2 mastery level things a week or like 3 mastery level things a week, but still at the bare minimum doing one thing a day that brings me joy. And that if you're able to do that, that's going to help connect you to the energy of the Empress. It's going to help you appreciate the 10 of Cups. You're going to find a lot more happiness in the smaller things in life, because without sounding like too whatever, I feel like we're all very distracted by like these giant end goals that we have, and it's taking our happiness away. It's a distraction, it's avoidance, and we're just not being present in the moment and enjoying what's around us while we're here. Like our lives are very precious and very valuable, and our lives are also very short. We're not here for a long time. So we deserve to have happiness while we're here. And I know that this is so much easier said than done, because this is such a card of despair. And trust me when I say that, like, I feel you. If you are in this place, like, I fucking feel you. So it's just really important to focus on the first 2 cards for Libra season to get you back to where you need to be and where you deserve to be. Okay, so that got a little bit deep there, but now we're gonna find something fun, because how can we allow creativity to flow? And I pulled the Devil card, so I'm like, ooh. Because typically, you know, a lot of people view the Devil card as like not the best card, but you're being like a little bit too frigid, you know, especially if we're in like that 9 of Swords headspace. Oh my God. How can you have creative energy when you're in despair, man? Like, the Devil card is needed here. How can you allow creativity to flow during Libra season? Relinquishing control. Let your inhibitions flow. I know I'm gonna say this wrong, but hedonism, you know, like kind of like participating in things that give you pleasure. That's like, ooh, it's like a little bit bad, but it's fun. Allowing yourself just to release your inhibitions. Just allowing you to release your inhibitions and, you know, feel the rain on your skin. If you know, you know. That is what the Devil card is calling you to do. Feel the rain on your skin, baby. Allow your creativity to flow, because that's how you're going to get to do it. The only warning with the Devil is to just know your limits. Don't stay here for too long and get like a little bit too comfortable. But just, you know, have fun. Do something that's fun. Do something a little wild that you haven't done in a while. So to help break you out of the state of the 9 of Swords, so you can enjoy, you know, your creativity is going to also bring you joy in life. Up next, how to channel confidence. We have the Hierophant. This is like spiritual wisdom, which ties in to the Empress, because the Hierophant comes, you know, right after. There's Empress, Emperor, and then the Hierophant. So ties in very well to the Empress, building on the journey. So it's all about that spiritual wisdom, and the Empress is a wise ass bitch, and so are you. This card is telling you you don't need permission from other people. You're hesitant. That's why you got the Devil card. You're too scared to do what you want to do. And maybe that's what's causing you some of this despair, is that you're too scared to do what you want to do. So we have the Devil card telling you, like, do it. And the Hierophant is telling you, like, have the confidence, because you don't need permission from anyone. You don't need anybody's approval. You just need your own approval. I think just honoring and acknowledging yourself in general relates to the Hierophant here, and how to have confidence. And if this is relating to something creative, because again, the Empress is creative energy. If it is relating to something creative or something that you want to do, a new path you want to take, because again, the Empress is a new opportunity and you've been too scared to do it because you like doubt yourself. You don't owe it to anyone. You deserve to put yourself first, and you need to trust that you do have the confidence to do it, because once you honor and acknowledge yourself, that confidence is going to come out and you're going to be like, I am that bitch. So I think the Hierophant is great for confidence card. And lastly, how to maximize pleasure. We have the Three of Ghosts. This is telling us that it's playtime. It's time to get out of bed. And it's time to play with our friends. The Three of Cups is celebration of friendship. It's a good luck card, positive outcome. So maybe like whatever venture you have with the Empress, if there is a new venture coming up for you this Libra season, it's going to have a positive outcome. And at the end of the day, if your new venture is getting out of this headspace and becoming happier and being in less despair, like this card is telling us, like, whatever it is that you want to do, you can do it. Like, you got this. There's not going to be anything that's standing in your way except for yourself, honestly. This card also represents comfort, healing. It's also a creative card. It's a collaboration card. So like maybe you're doing a collaboration with your friends, a collaboration with a business partner, or like you're getting into business with someone new. You give and receive the love and support and compassion that you deserve. So like what you give out to the people around you, because you have a solid group of people behind you. You have a really good support system behind you. So that love, support, and compassion that you give to other people is going to be returned to you. And if you are forgetting that because you're in this state of despair, call on your friends and they'll remind you. They will be there to help pull you out of that state. This is also a high energy card. So I think once you're able to get out of this moment of despair and start appreciating the little things that are the Ten of Cups, maybe after you start channeling into some of that devil energy, you recognize the bad bitch that you are. You're able to channel that Empress energy and you're going to have a really high creative energy. And I can see you ending Libra season on a very, very positive high note. So we also have some oracle cards to go through. And while I've been doing readings, back you guys out a little bit. While I've been doing readings, I've been listening to music. So like I'll just like randomly on a playlist hit a song. So it's kind of like a message, and I really like the song that came up when I was pulling the cards for this spread. It's called Sword of Destiny. And I love it because I feel like it's such a good representation for you. It's called Sword of Destiny. It's by Jillian Aversa in your chin? Question mark. It's basically a song from The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, but I really like this song, Sword of Destiny. I feel like because we did pull the Nine of Swords, you're destined to pull yourself out of this. And it's going to be beautiful. And I can't play the song for copyright reasons, but I suggest you listen to it because it's a mood and I love it. From our Where Alice Went Oracle deck, we have the card Try. And I'm just going to read the description from the guidebook. This ties in so beautifully to the Nine of Swords. You've got to keep your head above water. Perhaps this means swimming to higher ground. Perhaps you grab a piece of driftwood floating by. Perhaps you use every last bit of energy to power through to the other side. However you get there, it's time to get out of the deep end and rest for a while. Empress, baby. You deserve it. The other card that I pulled from this deck is Sit. So I think we're going to have like a similar message here. Let me find it. Take a seat that is rightfully yours. Like, okay, Hierophant card much? It's okay to step into a position of expertise or leadership right now. That's literally the Hierophant. Trust that you have the experience and wisdom to do the job at hand. I'm telling you, whatever idea you have, you need to do it. You need to do it. You need to do it. Okay. Up next, we have pulls from Visions in the Liminal Space. And this deck either has really nice messages or it can be quite sassy. So let's see what it has to say for the two cards that I pulled. The first card that I pulled is No Vacancy. The portal is now closed on a memory that once offered nostalgia, comfort, and fond feelings. This empty but no longer vacant space is uninhabitable, even to your imagination. The land of the living is knocking and ticking and talking, inviting you back, demanding your presence. While bittersweet, outgrowing old vices, the past being the most enticing of them all, is a step towards liberation and maybe even eternal bliss too. A promise to the haunted and heartbroken that you soon will be gone from this place and from you. I think that this is you being stuck in your head, and it also relates to the Devil card, right? Because like we pulled the Devil for creativity, about releasing your inhibitions and like letting your creativity flow. But the Devil is also a place where you don't want to get stuck and spend too much time. So I don't think that this card necessarily relates to the Devil in this reading. I think that it's more so telling you that staying in the comfort of the past or like whatever it is that's causing you this despair, you're not happy here anymore. It's time for you to go. It's time for you to move on. The last card we pulled is My God Has Answered. And it says, a mother prays for a daughter and upon giving birth to one gives her two names. Bakara, firstborn daughter, and Elena, my God has answered. To speak the name is to exult in an answered prayer for life. And the author's name of this is Bakara. So I think that that is an interesting card to leave you on just to ponder for yourself. And here is what your spread looks like. If you'd like to take a screenshot of it or just take another moment to take it in. I think you're going to have a really good Libra season. It's just going to be a struggle pulling yourself out of that Nine of Swords. And I'm right there with you, so I feel you. But there's all the good things ahead. Like, you just have to literally... Maybe the song that you guys should listen to is Come Clean by Hilary Duff. To release your inhibitions, feel the rain on your skin. I hope that this reading leaves you well. Let me know in the comments down below what resonated with you or if you have anything that stood out to you during this reading. As always, there's information in the description box for you to check out. I highly suggest you do. Be sure you're subscribed before you leave so you don't miss my next video. And I will see you in the next one. As always, thank you so much for your time and energy in these videos. I really do appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed them, and I will talk to you soon, friends. Bye. Hi group 3, welcome to your reading on Libra season. And before we get into it, I have a shameless plug. If you like this little decoration centerpiece, I do have a DIY on how to make this. So if you're interested, it's available, just saying. So group 3, we have a very interesting spread for you because you have some good things coming, but I feel like you're either getting in your own way or there's like a misperception, like you're not being perceived right. So let's get into it and see what the cards have to say. I'm gonna go ahead and do a nice little zoom in. And the vibe for Libra season, the vibe is good because we pulled the 8 of Ghosts, which is the 8 of Cups. Now this is a really good sign. As you can see, there is a hand out of a nice little cloud that is handing you this goblet that's overflowing and it's connecting to the water below it. Throughout each card we have our little black cat, that's our guide, or you can think of it as like your higher self. Sometimes the cat relates to the story, but sometimes it's just a guide there and it can give some clues. So the cat's looking up at the cup, very interested by it. This is an opportunity to be presented to you. I mean, there's really no other way to say it if you know tarot. The aces, they're new opportunities. It is what it is. So Libra season is presenting you with this amazing, beautiful opportunity to get in touch with your emotions. Maybe you've been neglecting your emotions a little bit, your creativity. I talked about in the other 2 groups how there's just like this like kind of general sense of numbness, like we've been numbing out and we haven't really been present or like in touch with ourselves. So this is a really great opportunity. If you've been doing that, it's like a nice reminder to be like, hey, like it's time to get in touch with yourself again and it's time to wake up. The Ace of Cups represents great happiness. It's self-love, strong emotions. The Ace of Cups is also productivity because it's a new opportunity. So it's like the first step of a journey. So there's gonna be a lot of like productivity around here. You might find yourself busy with projects during Libra season because we did pull another Ace card. So there's definitely something coming your way this Libra season. And I think you're going to create something. But the Ace of Cups is also about like beauty, like creating beauty, finding beauty within yourself. If you're into makeup, maybe it's like a new makeup routine or you're like experimenting with makeup or trying like a new look out, or, you know, beauty could also relate to inner beauty. It can also relate to, you know, it's the autumn equinox, the worldly beauty that we have right now as we're transitioning into seasons. The Ace of Cups is also about pleasure. It's about opening up your heart. So if there is an opportunity that's presenting itself, especially because we pulled another ace in this reading, the signs are good. It's a good sign. Say yes to it. It would be a great opportunity for you. And the warning with the Ace of Cups is don't close yourself off. Especially, like I said, like if you've been kind of having like that numbness or you've just been kind of shut off from, maybe you've been shut off from the world, maybe you've been shut off from other people that are around you, maybe you've been shut off from yourself, and maybe you just shut everything off, like your emotions off. It's time to open your heart up and not to be closed off. Very important, don't be closed off. It's going to cause you problems. And we're about to get into why it's going to cause you problems. So don't be closed off, okay? Let the opportunities come to you. So the second card is something you should contemplate. In here we have the 5 of Bats, which is a 5 of Swords. I don't really love this card. This is a pettiness card. Like you're being petty about something or towards someone or just like in general. Maybe you're being petty towards life. Bats represents swords and swords represents mental. So like you're thinking. So you just have like this petty attitude and you need to like drop it. because it's going to get in your way when it comes to these opportunities, because people aren't going to be happy for you. They're not going to be cheering you on for these opportunities. They're going to think that you don't deserve it, because people have this perception of you right now that's not exactly positive. And if you look, I can't zoom in anymore. If you look, you could, it's right there in the artwork. Petty, petty, petty. You are taking all the trick-or-treating bags from all the other kids trick-or-treating. You are like being the bully here. The moon is like, what's your problem? Our cat is not happy with you. So like you're being petty for some reason. Like you feel like you need to win. You feel like you need to conquer, and you don't. Like you're hurting other people, but you're hurting yourself more with this. So like whatever competitive shit you have going on, it's not working out for you. And you're the one at the end of the day that's going to be affected and hurt by this more than the people around you. You need to contemplate your self-defensiveness. Like if you're a very defensive person, you need to contemplate as to why that is. Like, why are you being so defensive? There's so many people around you that like want to cheer you on and want you to have these opportunities and want you to succeed, but you're just being very defensive. And for what? Like, who's winning here? You're definitely losing more than they are. It seems like I'm also getting like distrust from others because of your actions, or like maybe not so much your actions, but like your aloofness, the way that you come across is causing distrust from other people. And if this is sounding off and it's not your true self, your perception, like there's just something about your perception and the way that you're coming off that is like, ew. We do have Mars in Gemini, and Mars is retrograding or about to be retrograding. We have Mercury retrograding right now. So things aren't great. If this isn't how you normally are, you could be being affected by the retrogrades. There are 6 planets retrograding right now, but the main ones that you would probably be affected by would be Mercury and Mars. So
editing Meg coming in because there's just a lot going on here that I'm struggling to say. But it's just dishonesty. Like, are you going along with the story that you no longer want to go along with? Maybe there's like a difficult conversation that you need to have. You need to analyze your relationships. Maybe you're doing too much. There's too many responsibilities on your plate. That could be another thing going on. But as far as the retrogrades go, and what we have going on, we have Mars in Gemini, and Gemini is an air sign. Swords represents air. And we also have Mercury retrograde in Libra, and Libra is also, again, an air sign. So I feel like these transits, Mars and Gemini, is coming into play, especially because that's communication and how you analyze and think, and Mars is a planet of like aggression and action, so maybe that's how you're coming across. And Mercury retrograde is also about communication, and it is an air sign, so maybe there's just something about the way that you're coming off towards others that's rubbing them the wrong way and giving them the wrong impression. If you feel like you're not being petty, that could be a narrative that you can explore as well. So analyze your the relationships around you as well. If people feel like you're being petty and you feel that you aren't, maybe those people don't have like your best intentions in mind. So it's just a lot to think about. A couple different scenarios could be playing out with this 5 of Swords card. It's a lot.
So you need to contemplate on how you could be coming across to other people. Like, why are you coming across that way? Like, what can you do to fix that? Because it's going to be a really big problem. It's going to get in your way. There's a lot of good things coming to you, but you got it, like, this pettiness, man. It just says Mars and Gemini to me. Anyway, so why should you contemplate that? I kind of over-explained a little bit, got ahead of myself. Why should you contemplate the Five of Swords? And we pulled the Six of Pumpkins, which is the Six of Pentacles. And a lot of this has to do with like balancing the scales. It's very Libra. It's about like giving and receiving equally. So to me, this is all about perception. Like, this is how you want to be seen. You want to be seen as a person that's handing out candy, not taking candy away from people. But it's kindness, it's generosity, it's working both ways is what this card is about. But to me, it's also like, what more could you be doing? Because you may feel like you're in this position, but it's not enough. Because if we really think about it, when it comes to the Pamela Coleman Smith original artwork, you have an affluent figure, like an aristocrat, handing out money to people begging on the street, to people that are living in poverty. And while it may look like they're balancing the scales by giving to the poor, like, what are they really doing? Like, they could be doing more. Like, what are they doing with their money? Like, they could be doing more with their money. They could be working on like affordable housing. You know what I mean? Like, there's so much more that they could do. Like, are you doing this for show? Is this why people are having the wrong perception of you? Are they misperceiving you because they think that you're being fake with this? Do they think that you're just being generous for show? Are they finding that to be disingenuous with you? Are you being disingenuous with it? Is there something more that you could be doing with what you have to help and benefit the people around you? The Six of Six of Pumpkins to me is like a dig deeper. Like, what more could you be doing? Because there's something off with the way that you're being perceived. It's like you're like in the card example, it's like wealth hoarding. So it's like, yeah, you're giving some of it away, but like, what else could you be doing to share your resources? And it doesn't have to be money. Like, maybe the people around you, the people that you work with, maybe they think that you're being secretive and deceptive because like you're not willing to share your resources, or like you're unsure of how to work with other people. Maybe it's something like that. Obviously it's a question you're gonna have to answer for yourself. It's just what I'm getting with the cards. Like, there's some kind of miscommunication happening specifically right now during Libra season, during Mars and Gemini, during this Mercury retrograde in Libra. And you have to figure out, why are people perceiving you in a negative way? Number four is, how can you allow creativity to flow? And we have the Ace of Pumpkins. So here is our other ace card. There's opportunity, like something's coming your way, but you gotta figure out why people are perceiving you weirdly. I swear it has to do, like, there's some kind of miscommunication with Mercury retrograde and Mars and Gemini, or Mars and Gemini retrograde. Like, there's some kind of miscommunication. So you need to work on that and correct it. Don't let your pettiness get in the way. Like, don't be afraid to apologize is another thing for the previous two cards. Like, if you did something wrong, or you think you did something wrong, like, apologize. It goes a long way. Because you want to have people supporting you. And the Ace of Pumpkins is an amazing opportunity. So this Ace of Pentacles is like abundance, it's wealth, it's accomplishment. It's like you need to make the most of whatever this opportunity is. And because it's in the sign of Pentacle, and you make something tangible. And so how does this relate to creativity? This relates to creativity because the veil is very thin right now. It's just the time of year. The veil is like very thin as we approach, season of the witch, as they say. The veil is very thin. It's a very good time for manifestation. Whatever it is you're manifesting, you have like a really good chance of it coming through. So when it comes to getting your creativity to flow, I think you need to look into manifesting.
Creativity through divination could also be another thing to look at.
You can also look to grounding yourself, because Ace of Pentacles is all about earthly objects. So maybe getting out in nature is going to help flow the creativity and help bring this opportunity to you. But yes, I mean, there's definitely something is coming your way. Let me know in the comments if it comes your way and what it is. So how can you channel confidence? So this is another great card. It pairs great. I'm wondering if we have like a lot of earth signs watching this one, because we're pulling all of the pentacle cards. Here we have the Four of Pumpkins, which is the Four of Pentacles. How to channel your confidence. Like what you're doing, like, okay, aside from this, like whatever this miscommunication is, it's not working for you, right? Like whatever, it's like a weird blimp. But normally like what you're doing is working for you. Like especially with this last card being a big manifestation card, I would say Ace of Pentacles is more so manifestation than Ace of Cups. Whatever you're doing, you're planting these seeds and it's working. And what you've done in the past works. Like you're going to have fruition from this. The Ace of Pentacles represents stability and prosperity. So yeah, planting these seeds and doing what you've done in the past. If you've had success with it, keep it up, keep doing it, because what you're doing is working here. And the last card, how to maximize your pleasure, we pulled the Six of Ghosts, which is the Six of Cups, which I call the inner child card. I also think that this is the answer to this conflict of the Five of Swords and the Six of Pentacles. I think that this is going to help you get past that. Like it's going to help be your answer. And also when it comes to the Ace of Pentacles with creativity, this is going to help you flow to your creativity as well. This card is literally the answer to all the other questions. It's going to help get you to the Four of Pentacles. And it's going to tie into the Ace of Cups, especially since they're in the same suit. But the Six of Cups is going to be your answer for the Ace of Pentacles. It's going to be your answer for the Six of Pentacles. And it's going to be your answer for the Five of Swords. I feel very strongly about that. I feel like if you're struggling to, if you're in this contemplation of like, why are people perceiving me this way? I feel like you just need to dig deep and do some inner child work and things will be a lot better for you. This card represents like your inner child, joy, innocence. It could also be a visit of somebody from the past. And I'm only saying that because we are in Mercury retrograde. So you could have somebody from your past, maybe from your past childhood or something coming to you. But I see it more as like an opportunity to have harmony, to be able to give and receive in a true balance. Like I feel like this is giving and receiving in a false balance. But the Six of Ghosts will allow you to give and receive in a true balance. It's beautiful. I love this card so much. There's just so much fun, freedom, and innocent. There's just so much fun, freedom, and innocence. And like when you go to connect with your inner child, it's just such a beautiful thing to do, because, if you go far back enough to connect with that child before we had learned hierarchical beliefs, you're going to have the best time. Because when we were children, before we had the learned hierarchical beliefs and like societal norms, we had complete freedom. Like we could do, like essentially like we could do no wrong. Like we were very nurtured at that time in our lives. And we didn't have society telling us, like art is stupid, for example, if I'm going to pull from my own personal experience. Because at the end of the day, art's subjective. There is no good or bad art. Who's to say what is good and what is bad? So connecting to that inner child before you had that learned experience of some art is good and some art is bad, you need to connect back to that and figure out and kind of just like unlearn it. Does that make sense? If you think back to like when you're in preschool, kindergarten, first grade, second grade, like you're doing all these art projects and everybody is like, this is great, this is amazing. And then you get to an age where people start saying like, okay, like it's enough, like you need to get over this. Like you need to stop spending so much time, like it's not productive working on your art. So you learn like your art isn't valuable. So that's my little rant on the Six of Cups and connecting to your inner child. And because it is a cup suit, it does relate to creativity. So maybe you can resonate with that. But going back and thinking to like these beliefs that we have learned and unlearning them is allowing us to start in a positive place and bringing our authentic self. And it's also really going to help with our intuition. So I think that the Six of Cups is actually like the biggest lesson for you this Libra season. Get in touch with your inner child because it's going to allow you to have these seeds to plant. You're going to have something to plant with this. It's going to connect you back to something, and it's going to bring you these opportunities. And again, this is this first card is an invitation to connect back to your inner child and to work with your inner child so you can have these other manifestations that lead more so to like maybe career or money come your way, because right now it just doesn't seem like you're in a very good position for those manifestations to come through. It seems like you have like some work to do. You have some unlearning to do because like whatever, this is just, I don't know. It's just telling me petty. Like you need to unlearn this and not have like a fake or disingenuous attempt at fixing it. But if you are able to connect to your inner child, you are going to have this Ace of Pumpkins present itself and the Four of Pumpkins. You're going to be able to plant seeds. And I think a great thing to do. What did you like to do as a child? Did you like art? Like maybe a coloring book, or just like even buying some cheap paints and some canvases. Michael's is having like a huge sale on canvases right now, connecting and just like painting and like getting back to what it is, but without judgment. You can't have judgment. You're not allowed to have the judgment on yourself because creativity is a muscle. You do have to exercise it. Maybe, you know, I mentioned beauty. Maybe it's makeup that you're wanting to reconnect with and that's your happy place. So like practicing that more, or maybe it's relearning and getting back into an instrument that you used to play. Or if you were really into Legos, buying yourself a Lego set, or like playing video games, just doing those little things that you enjoyed and that brought you joy as a child, and like reconnecting with that during Libra season is going to be a really big key to unlock a lot of other things and unlock opportunities for you. So I do have 4 oracle cards to go over if you're still here with me. The first card that I pulled is from the Where Alice Went deck. So I'm actually going to read from the guidebooks, and if I have input on the cards, I will surely give my inputs. So the first card that we have is Wake. And this is going to tie into Pentacles, I believe, because it's all about harvesting and working towards your goals. So for Wake, it says, you may have been taking it easy for a while, resting and dreaming of what's to come. It's time to rise and shine. A new day has dawned and you are refreshed and ready to greet whatever comes your way. So that's definitely working on your manifestations. Maybe that's part of the problem with how people are perceiving you. Maybe they think like you're not deserving of what you're getting because it doesn't appear like you're making an effort. I don't know. I'm just really stuck on that 5 of Swords and 6 of Pentacles because I'm like, I'm so curious as to what's causing me to pull that for you all. So anyway, the second card that I pulled, the second card that I pulled is Look, which says, You are advised to double check the details. Mercury retrograde, baby. Giving the final draft a once over. Make sure that you've covered all your bases. Taking a second look may reveal something you missed, even if you're sure you had everything in order the last time. Like, did you make a mistake at work or something? Like, I don't know. I'm so hung up on those 2 cards, but this is definitely like Mercury retrograde warning card. That's for sure. And now we're moving on to visions in the liminal space. And the fun thing with this deck is that it either has really nice and loving messages, or it's like it reads you to filth. So let's see what we get. First card I pulled 2 cards. The first one is the High Road. Hello. Again, like, we pulled that 5 of Swords for a reason. You need to take the high road, my friends. There's a magnificent idea available that will solve a multitude of issues, but accessing it requires seeing beyond what is to what should be, a solution rather than an answer. Keep imagining until you reach an outcome where everyone wins. That is the 5 of Swords. It's like you're so focused on winning that everyone loses, and you need to let everyone win. If you can achieve that level of genius, something positive and productive blooms on this mortal coil. You guys, take the high road. This is what will bloom. Oh my gosh. All right, and then the... Oh my God, sometimes you just have to laugh, man. All right. Last card is the back rooms, and I am having such a blast. It is now 12:15 in the morning. I've been filming for like the last 3 hours. This is so great. And we're leaving on such like an ominous note. This is a longer description for this one. And I'm gonna leave it with you so you can think. But also, quickly, before we get into this, leave you in suspense. I've been having songs. I was listening to songs while I was shuffling for your cards. So I want to share what the song is, and I would love it if you listen to it. It's called Walk of Hope by Anne-Sophie Bergenses. I'm going to say that wrong. And Gabrielle Sabin. It's a really beautiful song. So again, this tells me like there is hope. You just have to correct like whatever it is. Like there's some kind of like fuck up that you did and you need to correct it. But Walk of Hope, like that's just a positive sign. Anyway, final card that we have, lovely 4 paragraphs in the guidebook. A particularly ominous domination of the liminal space. Entered through a glitch or shift or no clip, the back rooms are just underneath the scaffolding of the simulation. Those who find themselves in this endless labyrinth of randomly segmented rooms and halls, furnished with aged carpet, stained walls, and buzzing lights, describe it as oddly familiar yet darkly nostalgic. Its existence, if accepted, all but proves the presence of a creator. It also calls into question if our God is more of a game maker, its progeny a result of masterful programming, the unobservable edge of the universe merely where coding has yet to be written. There is no known escape from the back rooms, just as there's no physical entrance. Because this realm warps time and memory, any information regarding it remains unverifiable by all presently available methods. More people are stuck here than you think, captive to the numbing repetition and crushing tedium of a life they refuse to choose. I'm going to say that again. The people who are stuck here are captive to the numbing repetition in crushing tedium of a life that they refuse to choose. So let that sink in. We love an ominous ending to a reading. Let me organize your cards here for you if you wanted to take a look at them all laid out together, take a screenshot of them. Y'all just like have some work to do. I mean, everybody in this whole pick a card in all three groups, everyone has work to do, but you have some really great opportunities available to you though. Okay, group 3, this is what your spread looks like. You definitely have some work to do. You need to wake up. You need to connect with that inner child. And I feel you're going to be very well on your way. You have so many promising things coming your way this Libra season. I think that if you start the work now, by the end of Libra season, you're going to have those seeds planted and you're going to be on your way. But I would love to hear from you in the comments what your thoughts are. And just a friendly reminder that we do have free will and agency. So what does and does not happen is not up to the cards. It's up to you because it's what you choose to do or choose not to do, depending, and that's what the outcome depends on. So anyway, I really appreciate you sticking with me during this long reading. This was a big one. Please check out my description box if you would like to book a personal reading with me. And be sure that you're subscribed to my channel so you don't miss my next video. I do enjoy pick a card videos, but I do also have other content besides this on my channel. But anyways, as always, thank you so much for your time and for your energy. It takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of energy from me. And it also is an energy exchange because it takes time and energy from you. And I am so appreciative that you are giving your time and energy to my channel. And I just want to thank you so much for that. Best of luck during this Libra season. I think once we get past Mercury retrograde, things are going to be going a lot better for you. And I will see you in the next video. Bye, everyone.